What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to another match preview. Yes, pre-season continues. This time, it's not in the USA. This time, it's not in Norway or Scotland. This time, it's in Manchester. It's at Old Trafford, and it's Manchester United versus Lens. I've been working on the pronunciation. I was saying Lens before, Lens. I'm not even sure if there's an S on the end of it. It might just be Lens. But I'm going with Lens. So we're going to talk about that. Yes, there's plenty to get into. Mina, though, first, how you doing?
I'm good. I can't remember the last time I've been on the channel. It's been a minute.
Pre-season break.
Yeah, pre-season break. It's nice to have had a long break. I think the last time was pretty much the FA Cup final.
Yeah, maybe a full view here and there. Maybe something like that.
Here and there, but it is what it is. It's nice to be back. Hopefully the season starts soon because I'm just ready to have some routine in my life again.
Yes, I know how you feel. How have you found pre-season, though? Because this kind of ties into the game tomorrow. How have you found pre-season? How have you judged it? Some people saying it doesn't matter. Some people saying it really matters. Some people in the middle going, oh, you know, it's cause for concern, but cause for optimism. How have you found it?
I think pre-season matters for players that have a point to prove. I think players that are picking up off a difficult season have a lot to prove in pre-season, or they need to show like a little bit of something. I think it's important for academy kids. You know, Kobbie Mainoo, Amad Diallo, very unlucky for both of them to be out for half of the season now. But I think pre-season matters for those sort of players that need to prove to the manager something, especially for example like Jadon Sancho, who's had a good pre-season, and it's actually making me look forward to how he starts the Premier League season. It gives me a bit of optimism. Also, I think when you haven't got your full starting 11, it's kind of difficult to judge preseason. Like we know, you know, we came into the beginning of preseason with just Mason Mount. Then we knew we were getting Andre Onana. Then he was there for the US tour, but he really just played a half here, half there. Rasmus Hojlund, now we know that we're getting him, but it looks like he will probably be involved in the last preseason game, maybe even not that. Knowing Ten Hag, he might not even include him in that. So I don't think people should judge or have judgment based on pre-season, because the starting 11 come, I don't know, when we play Spurs or when we play Arsenal in the first few games of the season. It's definitely not going to be the same starting 11s that we've been seeing in pre-season. So I think judge it lightly, because if you look at a lot of other clubs as well, it's been nobody looks really impressive.
No, everyone's kind of like, I think the only team is like, if it's, say, City, it doesn't matter because you go, well, the Man City is going to be fine. But you're right, everyone else. I mean, I haven't been paying super close attention to them because I don't really care. But, you know, you look at the other teams. I think I've seen opposition fans from all of their clubs all say, yeah, we're not really there just yet. Well, you know, we're not certain how it's going to go. So I think United are just kind of in that pool of everyone. I mean, you could argue when it comes to business, done business fairly quickly for United anyway, address some key areas, still players to get. Hopefully Amrabat will come in at some point, but that's not going to happen till the season starts. So I agree. I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, a couple of the performances, in particular, the game against Dortmund was probably the most concerning one. More so, not because the team that played the majority of the game was sort of the backup players, and they actually did okay, bar big errors, and they can happen. But they did okay. It was more concerning is actually in the second half when the sort of starters came on. We were worse. We got worse. And even Ten Hag himself came out afterwards and went, yeah, this wasn't good, was it? It wasn't very good. So I guess that would be a concern. But not to do a disservice to the opponent, because I did this morning. When I did the morning show, Marcel, I was saying, Lens mid-table side, play a strong team, win 3 or 4-0, build up momentum. Well, I've done my research, folks, and it might be quite challenging. Depends. Now, this is the season they had last season, Mina, right? They came second in Liga. Yeah. They finished 1 point behind PSG. They only conceded 29 goals, which is the fewest in the league. They're undefeated so far in pre-season. They've won 2, they've drawn 4. In the league, they have 1 league defeat since March. That was against PSG. But it must be said, and this is kind of what happens with sort of clubs that overachieve in certain European leagues, a lot of their best players have now gone because of it. Fofana went to Al Nassr, pronunciation, for 25 million euros. And also their top goal scorer, Lois Openda, has gone to RB Leipzig. So it's still going to be an interesting one. I think, you know, we can't overlook them tomorrow. And I think it's going to be a good test, which is what Ten Hag wants, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think we might start to see stronger lineups in the last few preseason games, maybe to get into the routine of the season once it starts. For me, I still think he's gonna play Sancho as that false nine again. I think Rashford, Anthony. I saw an article on the Athletic that was breaking down like their sessions in America, the training sessions that seems like they've been working a lot on is, you know, the aggression and the passing and whatnot. And maybe that's an explanation as to why they were quite sloppy against Dortmund, because it was something new or something different. We seemed a bit erratic in possession, which we've been used to seeing in the past. Yeah. Hopefully something can be stamped out in pre-season. I would like to see a good result just because this is the only pre-season game at home. It's the only one at Old Trafford at this season. And obviously Rasmus Hojlund will probably be unveiled. So it'll be nice to kick it off in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, they've pretty much everyone said that he's going to be unveiled, like you said, before the game. I did a tweet today, a rare Owen tweet, and saying that if you look at how, because this has happened the last 2 years, you had Varane was unveiled before Leeds at Old Trafford, and he shook hands with Rio Ferdinand. Last year, Casemiro unveiled at Old Trafford, shook hands with Roy Keane. So I'm thinking the same thing's going to happen tomorrow. Hojlund's going to be there.
My prediction is shake hands with
Andy Cole. I think it's going to be Andy Cole. That's my Andrew Cole, excuse me. I think that's what it's going to be, because that would make sense. From a broadcaster point of view, it's obviously MUTV, so they're not exactly going to have like Ferdinand or Keane there. So I think Andy Cole's going to be there, and I think that's going to be the one. That's my prediction. Who would you predict?
I was going to say something cheeky and say like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
People have been saying this to me. I was thinking,
I don't know why. I would, because I know he's still got relations with the club, and I know like his daughter used to play for the women's girls academy team at some point.
Yeah.
So I know he's still got good relationships with the club, and I wouldn't be like mad about it, because if I'm judging him as a player, he deserves to be in that category of you know, like Rio Ferdinand and Roy Keane, but obviously everyone's kind of blinded by his managerial time at the club. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on Sancho playing as the false nine, and this was something that I did find really interesting in pre-season, because he played like probably the most minutes out of most people actually in pre-season, Sancho. And again, most of the time it was in that false nine role. And initially, I think most people assumed, oh, it's just because we just don't have a striker. And obviously that's part of it. But as time went on, I think it was the Athletic reported, no, this is a legitimate trial for him in that position, and he could actually have a role to play there. And to be fair, against Dortmund, I thought he was probably our best player on the pitch for the majority of the game. Do you think there's a possibility of him actually playing that, not only, like you said, tomorrow, but further forward this season? Is he going to be an alternative to Hojlund or a support for him in that position, do you think?
I think so, and I think he'll work well with a number 9, an out-and-out striker. I think with Sancho, he's one of the players that I was speaking about when I was talking about pre-season, saying like some players have something to prove. And I think this is a make or break it year for Jadon Sancho, I think, at Manchester United. And I really think Erik ten Hag wants him to do well, which is why he's trialing him in these alternative positions. Because really and truly, we know that right-hand side belongs to Anthony. And we know that the left-hand side belongs to Marcus Rashford. So the fact that he's willing to trial out Jadon Sancho in alternative positions, whether it's as a false 9, whether he could be playing as a second striker to Hojlund, in that little 10 space. Obviously, that makes question for the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount, etc., etc. But the fact that Ten Hag is trying to work around him and find something that works for him and works for the team as well kind of shows that I think Ten Hag believes in him and his ability. Because let's not get it twisted, Jadon Sancho is a talented person. He's a very talented person. It's just he's been unlucky over the last couple of years. Kind of came to the club when there was just a roller coaster of a season. And then, you know, he had his own issues off the pitch last season, spent some time away training elsewhere. He didn't come back until like end of January, beginning of February. So he missed a substantial part of the season. So this season, I think it's a make or break it year. And I think Erik ten Hag is putting his stocks in Jadon Sancho. I am as well. I said it at the end of last season that next season is my year for Jadon Sancho. And
it's going to be the one.
It's going to be the one. Like, I'm feeling a bit optimistic. I'm feeling a bit optimistic. And it's a good alternative to have, especially when, you know, we probably won't get another striker. So, you know, Ten Hag has the option of playing Rasmus Hojlund up top. And if not, you know, you can play Marcus Rashford. And if that doesn't work, you can play Sancho as a false nine. You've got 3 different options to work with, depending on who the opponent is. And I think that's always good, because it's always good to have other plans rather than just having a plan A all the time.
Andre Onana, obviously he's played a part in preseason, came a little bit late into the US tour. He's probably going to start tomorrow. I would probably assume if he was really desperate, Ten Hag to bed him in as much as possible. I mean, we know that it's going to be sort of an 80-10 split tomorrow. One group of players plays 80 minutes, another group plays 10. Then Sunday, same thing. With a goalkeeper, it's a bit different because he could play more minutes than others. Obviously, the positional demands are different. How have you made out his preseason so far? And how do you think he settles in tomorrow? I mean, he's, like you said, when it comes to certain players like Mount and Onana, it's going to be their first games at Old Trafford, particularly Onana, replacing De Gea, who's been there over a decade. How do you think he reacts to that, and what have you made of his preseason?
I think anytime he plays a ball over the top, the crowd is going to be like, ah!
Oh, I mean, Twitter just goes crazy anyway, doesn't it? Literally, one pass, they go, oh.
What a pass. Honestly, no, I'm really excited for him for the season, just because I feel like he's we've seen in preseason already. We've already seen his, you know, sweeping abilities. And now, of course, I've seen people talking about, oh, he's conceded this many goals in preseason. But let's be honest, when they're not taking preseason as serious as most people would expect them to. Obviously, Erik ten Hag did kind of set the team up by saying, oh, there's no such thing as friendlies. And then everybody's using that quote against him. But this is Onana's coming in. He still hasn't actually, I think, settled into the club. He's only been there for 2-ish weeks. Has played 40 minutes here, 40 minutes there. So I think tomorrow, I wouldn't say tomorrow is going to be a big game for him, but I think it's going to set the standard for him in terms of what it's going to be like to play at Old Trafford. You know, we got I think it's Wolves that we're playing at home.
Yeah.
And then we've got Brighton a few games later at home, I think, as well. Obviously, we've got Arsenal and Spurs in between that. I think we got Spurs at home, and I think it's Arsenal away. I might be wrong.
They're both away. They're both away.
Oh, they're both away. Okay.
2 trips to North London, yeah.
2 trips to North London. So I think it will set the tone for him in terms of what it's like to play for Manchester United. You know, the crowd is amazing, unreal. And I think every time, I think people are just waiting for him to make that one mistake. They're waiting for that, you know, him to get chipped. We've seen it in preseason, him to concede a silly goal, an overhead kick, whatever. I think people are just waiting on it. But I think I'm giving him a few games to kind of just settle into the team. And when I say a few games, I mean like actual regular season games, not preseason, like full 90 minutes consistently. And then, you know, I'll judge him on that. But I'm excited. I'm really excited to see him play.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think tomorrow's actually a really good opportunity, I think, for him, because people don't realise, just again, the pressure of being a goalkeeper anyway, but being the United goalkeeper at Old Trafford, and you are replacing a guy that's been there a long time. And obviously, I have no worries about his ability to adjust. He doesn't have any problems with pressure. We've seen that. The guy takes as long as possible on the ball and takes some crazy risks. So I don't think he gets nervous or anything like that. But just to have that game, 80 minutes tomorrow, however long it is, of just taking in the surroundings, understanding the atmosphere, or as Ten Hag says, the ambience. He loves that word. The ambience is superb. So probably, I think, again, that's a really good opportunity for him tomorrow. So like you, I'm very excited to see him play then. The other signings, Mason Mount, already shock, a little bit divisive of a figure in the United fan base after not even, like you said, a regular game, not even a full game for United yet. What have you made of his preseason, and how important do you think he's going to be for Ten Hag moving forward?
We've already seen, I think, how important he is in those aggressive presses that we've been trying in preseason. I generally say this all the time. I'm not judging players until I see them throughout the regular season. And I think it's quite harsh, new signings. I always give new signings at least one season just to kind of find their feet in the club, because it's not easy, number one, to come join a new club, but it's not easy to come from a rival team such as like Chelsea to now come over to Manchester United, where that first game at Stamford Bridge against Manchester United is going to be an interesting one. So I'm excited to see how Mason Mount fits into the team. I'm excited to see how Onana is. I'm excited to see Rasmus Hojlund, even when, you know, once we get Amrabat, I'm not saying we're getting him, but once we get him, you know, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to see how they all kind of fit into the team. And I think with Mason Mount, I think he's going to have a good season for Manchester United. I don't know what it is. I've got a feeling. And I was never part of the I want Mason Mount thing. I was very much like, why are we paying 50 million for him? 1 year left on his contract. He's not really 50 million worth. But now he's in a Man United shirt, so I'm going to back him.
Yeah, Mystic Mina's got a feeling, which is positive. I like that. Just briefly before we get into predictions and wrap things up, it has been reported today that Amrabat was actually meant to be in England. He was meant to be traveling with Fiorentina for the game against Newcastle at St. James's Park. Hasn't traveled. And the reason is because he really wants that Man United move. Bid hasn't gone in or anything like that just yet. But they're saying with talks being quite intense now between Real Sociedad and Manchester United for Donny van de Beek, possibly Fred leaving. One of them just needs to go before United put that bid in. And to be honest, the moment they put that bid in, chances are it's going to be accepted. How important do you think Amrabat could be in terms of that midfield signing? I mean, in terms of the comparison to other midfield signings this summer, obviously Mason Mount, but others around Europe, much lower fee, but a top quality player, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're getting a passer and a destroyer in one. I think so. I'm not saying we are getting him, but if we do get him, you know, someone that can comfortably pick up the ball from the back line, someone who's, I think his ability to cover so much grass effortlessly is crazy. Like you guys think Fred runs a lot. Trust me, you don't see that until Amrabat comes. This guy is a machine. In the World Cup, he was taking injections just so that he could keep playing every game for Morocco, and he was doing it so effortlessly. Not just that, he's a great passer, great vision, can read the pitch pretty well. I think the only thing he doesn't have is finishing, but he's got a strike on him. He can shoot, but I think he's better at passing. And I think him and Casemiro together, we would have the option of either playing Amrabat by himself or Casemiro and Amrabat together when we need, you know, two destroyers in midfield. The ability to
that's rotate. A brutal midfield, isn't it?
Honestly, the ability to rotate will be so amazing, and I think it's something that we've needed for so long. And I also think Amrabat will be that long-term replacement for Casemiro. Obviously, Casemiro's got a contract to 2027, I think it is.
Yeah.
Same as Lisandro and whatnot, but obviously he's a bit older. So I think it will be. I got a good feeling. I have a feeling Amrabat will be in a United shirt. I think it's going to happen probably around like 19th, 18th of August. He'll probably be a United player.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one's, by all accounts, they keep saying he's even turned down approaches from Saudi clubs and stuff like that because he's made his mind up. I want to go to United. Clearly, he's probably had some chat with some intermediary that said, look, we'll put a bid in. You have to wait a little while. We've got to get rid of some midfielders. Yeah, so I think that one's going to happen. I agree. Wrap things up. Prediction for tomorrow. Are we going to get a win at Old Trafford? Another Mystic Mina. Come on, give me something good.
It might be like, I say 2-1 United. It would be nice to get a win in pre-season. It's been a minute since I've seen a win.
I know the last one was the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
And I mean, last year, once the tour finished, we had a game at Old Trafford, which was the Rayo Vallecano game, which I think was a draw. I want to say it was a draw. They might have been 1-1. And then we lost whenever it was not long after to Atletico in Oslo. So like you, I looked at this like momentum. If we win and win well, I do think there'll be momentum. People kind of put that sort of bad taste that some people have of the preseason tour anyway, put that to one side and they'll say, actually, okay, we look sharp. I think it's an important one tomorrow just to look sharp and kind of, again, build a bit of momentum, particularly with Ten Hag's comments after the Dortmund game of not being happy. I think it's good to right that wrong. And then even if you play the strongest team tomorrow and Sunday you play the weaker side and you lose against Bilbao, you can just go a bit like Rex and you go, I don't matter. We played the weaker side anyway. So I'm going to predict, I'm going to go with a score, which is rare. I'm going to go with a 2-0. But I do think it'll be challenging because, again, Lions don't concede that many goals. And that'll be good. I think they might play a bit of a low block. Might have to break them down. But we're going to have to get used to that for the season ahead. Score prediction?
2-1.
2-1. Yeah. There you go.
2-1.
Well, let us know your score predictions, your predicted lineups, all that fun stuff in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. And be sure to subscribe to Mina's channel. It's in the comment section below as well. How many subscribers are we on at the moment?
I think it's like 700. And when I get to 1K, I'm playing KG live on stream, FIFA, and I'm going to smoke him.
Ooh, that is a tease. So if you haven't already, if you're watching this, comment section below or description below, wherever it is, below, and go subscribe to Mina's channel. Road to 1K. KG's on his way back to the UK, so the perfect time for a FIFA clash. Anyway, we're out of here. Peace.